What happens when the life you built no longer fits? Not because you failed, but because you grew. Because the version of you who fought to get here isn't the version of you who wants to stay here. Maybe it started with burnout, maybe it was boredom, or maybe it was a moment, one that changed everything. Today, we're diving into 5 powerful, true stories of people who hit that moment. People who faced the collapse of one version of their life and chose to build another. Not at 20, not at 30, but at 40, 50, and beyond. These aren't fairy tales. They're blueprints for becoming. Welcome to the Legacy Code. This is the power of reinvention. John Tarnoff spent decades in the entertainment industry, a successful film executive, deeply rooted in Hollywood, working behind the scenes of movies and talent deals. But after 35 years in that high-powered world, things fell apart. His tech startup failed during the dot-com bust. At 50, he found himself suddenly jobless, uncertain, and feeling obsolete in a world moving fast. Everything he had built, status, structure, identity, was gone. But here's where the story shifts. Instead of chasing the past, John decided to explore something radically different. He went back to school to study spiritual psychology. Yes, at 50, he immersed himself in deep personal development, looking inward instead of outward. He reframed his failure as a transition, and over time, he began to help others do the same. John became a career reinvention coach for people over 50. He wrote a book called Boomer Reinvention and built a thriving coaching practice, helping others create second acts that align with purpose. He didn't cling to his past. He reimagined his future. At 45, Claire Cook was a high school teacher with a quiet urge that wouldn't go away. She'd always dreamed of being a writer, but life was busy, noisy, and full of excuses. One day, sitting in her minivan outside her daughter's swim practice, she opened a notebook and started writing. That moment changed everything. She wrote her first novel in that van, bit by bit, between school runs and dinner duty. Her second novel, Must Love Dogs, became a bestseller, and then a Hollywood film starring Diane Lane and John Cusack. Claire left teaching behind and went on to publish over 20 books. She didn't come from publishing. She didn't have industry connections. She simply started. Her reinvention wasn't loud, it was quiet, it was consistent, and it was completely hers. 57-year-old Gail McNeil had it all on paper. A corporate career, a solid income, a lifestyle of success. But inside, she was suffocating. Burnout crept in slowly, then all at once. The meetings, the deadlines, the expectations, they all became noise she couldn't tune out. So she did what most people are afraid to do. She walked away. Gail sold her possessions, stepped out of the race, and embraced a simpler, more intentional life. She became an advocate for authentic aging and midlife reinvention. On social media, she rebranded as 50 Sister and began sharing her journey, the raw, real version. No filters, no false positivity, just truth. She later launched The Midlife Edit, wrote about reinvention, and built a new life aligned with wellness, minimalism, and emotional freedom. Her legacy isn't just her reinvention, it's the permission she gives others to do the same. The accidental inventor, a broken foot that sparked a brand new life. She was 58 when it happened. A broken foot, a walking boot, a pause she didn't ask for. Before that, she had co-owned a boutique retail store. But burnout pushed her out. Long hours, the grind, the constant stress, it drained her. The injury forced her to slow down, and in that silence, a new idea was born. She created a fashionable cover for orthopedic boots, just for herself at first. But it got attention. She turned that invention into a product. With no PR background, she taught herself how to get media attention. She landed features, then a spot on Steve Harvey's inventor competition. She won. From there, it snowballed. She launched a podcast called Living Ageless and Bold. She became a speaker, a brand, all from a moment that felt like a setback. Sometimes the breakdown is the doorway. Tamsen Fadal built her career in front of the camera, a respected journalist and TV anchor. But something shifted in her 40s. She began experiencing the symptoms of perimenopause, the kind of thing nobody talked about. Not in media, not in boardrooms, not anywhere. So she decided to be the one who talked. Tamsen shifted her platform from news to advocacy. She began producing content focused on women's health, aging, reinvention, and owning your story. She wrote How to Menopause and started speaking openly about everything that had once been hidden. Her reinvention wasn't about starting over. It was about stepping forward with truth. She used her voice to normalize what others were silencing, and that's a legacy. Lessons from the reinvented. Reinvention isn't about abandoning everything you were. It's about honoring it and deciding where you go next. These 5 people didn't all pivot because they wanted to. Some were pushed, others cracked. Some just knew they were meant for more. But in every story, there's a moment of truth, a point where the energy to pretend runs out, a realization that burnout isn't failure, that fatigue isn't laziness, that hitting a wall isn't the end. It's the beginning. Reinvention is about listening. It's about asking yourself, what am I giving my energy to? What is costing me my joy? What would I create if I believed it wasn't too late? You don't need a perfect plan. You need a starting point. What about you? Maybe you're at your own breaking point. Maybe you're somewhere between knowing and becoming. Start where you are. List what no longer fits. List what drains you. Then list what lights you up, even if it scares you. Don't wait for the world to give you permission. Give it to yourself. Reinvention isn't just for the lucky. It's for the willing, and it starts the moment you decide you're not done yet. This is the Legacy Code. If you got value from this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so that we can continue this journey together. Thank you for watching.